Real quick, got to give a shout out to the sponsors of these streams. As you guys know, I've been partnered with PrimeXBT. It's coming up on a year that we've been working together. So if you're interested in supporting your boy, the best way to do that is to use the PrimeXBT link in the description, make an account, put some money on there and start taking some trades with me. If you're wondering, I get DMs all the time. Main, where are you trading SPX? Where are you trading gold? Where are you trading silver? You can trade these commodities and these equities on Prime. So if you ever see me post a chart about gold, silver, the S&P 500, and you want to trade along and follow and you're not set up on a broker, you can trade those on Prime using crypto. It's no KYC, up to 20K per day withdrawals, and with my code MAIN50, you get up to a 7% deposit bonus. So if you want to support me, use that link, throw some money on there, really helps me out, and that's also how you get into the free Discord. Show me that you've signed up on Prime with my link and that you're using it, and I will get you in the Discord. All you gotta do is just DM me a screenshot. All the info on how to do that is on my website, tradermain.com. All right, so we're gonna talk about Bitcoin primarily. So we've absolutely rinsed this fucking move so far. So 3 trades, all executed perfectly. We've absolutely rinsed this, right? We've absolutely rinsed this fucking range. Caught the long on the run of these lows. Target was the range high. Saw distribution happening here into supply. Said, I think we move back towards the mid-range with a dip slightly below the mid-range. If you remember, I had that gray box drawn out here. Dip slightly below the mid-range. Everyone was longing into the resistance here. We caught the dip. We took our profit on the next move up, and now we're consolidating again here. So what you need to ask yourself is are we seeing this, right? Is this what's happening here? Are we going to get another move to the upside, or is this distribution and that's the end of this leg and we're going to have a much deeper pullback now? So I'm pretty happy with how I've traded these 3 moves here, right? Up, down, up again. And now we're in an area where there's a little bit of uncertainty. Personally, I would like to think that we have the opportunity for one more push to the upside, but I believe it's going to be very dependent on correlated assets in the market, specifically risk assets, and then looking at the dollar. So the dollar has sold off very hard over the last several weeks. This entire run basically that we've had on Bitcoin, or at least on equities, Bitcoin looks like shit because of Sam, but this entire run on equities, right, since the end of September to now, so that's almost 3 months we've been going up on equities. The dollar has fallen precipitously, but it is now coming into support and it's looking kind of bullish on the low time frame. So this is something we have to be aware of, because if the dollar is going to catch a bid and it is going to begin to rally, SPX, right, ES is right into resistance. Bitcoin, right into resistance. All other pairs, right, Euro USD into resistance. GBP USD into resistance. Dollar CAD, the inverse, is at support. So all of these things we're looking at could be queuing up for, hey, if this is the end of this rally on equities, we had a nice 20% pump and this thing's about to roll over and the dollar's about to rip, guess what? Crypto's gonna eat a dick. So you have to be prepared for that. So as much as I would like for us to get one more push up to 18.2. So basically, once this initial move happened, closed my longs, I waited, and I said, okay, look what we have here. We have a 12-hour break in market structure. You had this high here, this low to this high, get broken here. Daily's a little more tricky. So this is going to be an instance where, depending on what time frame you use, it's going to be a little bit trickier, a little bit stickier, I guess you could say, in terms of what you determine as a market structure break. Because on the 12-hour, this candle is 2 candles and it closed above this high. So that's a bullish market structure break on the 12-hour. But the daily is a bearish swing failure pattern. So generally, in these instances, the high time frame takes precedent over the low time frame. However, I'm still operating in the belief that we have one potentially move to the upside. So I'm going to be basing my analysis on this 12-hour price swing from here, this low here, to here. This is the price swing that I'm operating in. So I'm not doing some sort of macro high time frame analysis here. I'm literally saying, okay, here's my price swing. Can we get one more extension out of this leg? So what I did is we had this SFP here. That was your signal to get out of longs. We're now pulling back into where? Demand. So we pulled back into demand here, consolidated, and now we're getting a bit of a push away. So if we zoom in, was there a long opportunity within this 12-hour demand? Absolutely, right? Multiple swing failure patterns, clear signs of reaccumulation happening here, and now potentially a bullish break in market structure. So if we're able to maintain, right, this break, this is going to be the juice that we need to get one more push to the upside. At the very least, I think we will see back into 17.2 to 17.3. And then how we react up here is going to be the question. Because if you look here, that 12-hour SFP, that originated from this breaker block. So to me, if you longed here, you need to TP some here. At least that's how I would do it, because this is where price will distribute if the top is in. Okay, so if the top is in and we're going to run, I don't know how low, but maybe we're gonna run these lows here, let's say, right? Or maybe we're gonna come even deeper. But if that's gonna happen, I think it happens from here. And we would look for signs of distribution, right? And that would be your cue to either close out your longs or at least get short for a pullback. So this seems to me to be the area that I'm interested in operating in for now. I don't have a super clear picture high time frame. Like if you look at the weekly, just not enough data here yet. There's not enough data here for me to plan some sort of big swing trade here. It made sense down here to get long based on the PA, but here I just don't have enough yet. A little bit choppy, tight consolidation. So what am I gonna do? I'm gonna reduce the area that I'm paying attention to, and I'm just gonna look for a little trade. So I'm currently long. I got long based on the hourly. My entry is 16,945. So I literally am long right from the middle of this little consolidation, and it very simply was based on seeing accumulation here, SFPs of this big low here within the 12-hour demand. That's the entire reason I got long. My stop is below the 12-hour demand. Now that we've broken out here, technically I could say, okay, well now I want to enter, more, or I didn't get in enough size. I could look for some sort of pullback here, right, with a stop below one of these lows. If you want something a little tighter, if you're not in yet, that would be the continuation play. But I'm literally playing from, we ran liquidity here. This seems to be the next area of interest to me. Let's see what happens up here. So I'll be closing most of this long into here, and I'll be prepared to flip short or close the rest of it at the very least if we see effectively the inverse of this. So if we come up here and we start putting in a bunch of bearish SFPs and then break market structure to the downside, so this is the inverse of this, that will be my sign that this is distribution and we're probably going lower, and I'll look to get out. So still a little too early for me to decide. I need to see what happens when price gets here. That's what I'm going to be focused on. If we're able to get above this breaker and put in some bullish PA above this previous 12-hour high here, right? So we need to get above this like distribution, this consolidation here. If we're able to be bullish above here, my next target becomes 18.2. So that is kind of my plan right now. I think we're trading up to here currently. Depending on what happens here, we either queue up for 18.2 or this is probably where we distribute, and at the very least run out these lows at 16,600, maybe a little lower. All right, so I think everyone is understanding what the fuck I'm talking about on Bitcoin, right? So hopefully we get this continued push here. We're gonna watch, right, as this stream progresses. What happens? We got a nice little pump to the upside now, broke a couple of highs. Let's see if we can now get one more push to where I want to take profit on my long and then potentially see what happens here. But right now, the plan for Bitcoin is, if you're not in a trade, probably sit on your hands and wait. I think you either, if you're not in a trade now, I think you want to see what happens here for a potential long lower, right? So we could see a move down into here. We have this little liquidity void with a bunch of lows underneath it. So maybe we don't even push up this high. But ideally, something that could be sweet would be this, right? Move up into here, then down into here. There's your accumulation. Here's your manipulation. This is where we want to be a buyer. And then we'll get the expansion. That would be a cool little power of 3. But again, I think it's going to rely very heavily on what dollar and equities do for the rest of the week. That's kind of my plan, is either one more deeper pullback and then up to 18.2, or if we can get above here, 18.2 from here. But I am prepared for this thing to just roll the fuck over if equities look like shit and the dollar continues to rally. So that's what we're going to be watching. Be very interesting to see how equities open in the morning. Let's look at Ethereum real quick. So Ethereum, to me, right, like the breakout was clean as fuck, but we ran the highs that we wanted to see run, but we had the same 12-hour range. This just gave you a beautiful, retest of the mid-range. I mean, that was, picture perfect retest here. We do have these equal lows basically that I think a lot of people have their eyes on, but I think the thing that you wanted to watch here, this low to this high, 20%, this low to this high, just over half, 20% versus 12%, what that, like this is like 60% of the Ethereum move. So Ethereum had a massively outsized move to Bitcoin, almost 2x. The clue, obviously this, but the real clue is this: equal lows here, lower lows here. That divergence into the lows here I should have picked up on that. When Ethereum did not make a lower low, but Bitcoin did, that should have been the clue that I wanted to long Ethereum instead of Bitcoin, because Ethereum was bullishly diverging. This is not an RSI divergence. This is a different divergence. Ethereum was bullishly diverging from Bitcoin. But looking at Ethereum here on the 12-hour chart, what do we have now? What is the most clear range? It's this. So if I want to get rid of this range, I want to now say, okay, this is my new range. Looking at Ethereum, it looks like it probably wants to come lower before going higher, right? So that would be very similar to this initial Bitcoin trade here, right? What did I want to see? Back below the 50%. Same thing here. If this is our price swing, the ideal long entries are going to form below the 50% mark. It doesn't have to. We could pump from here, right? It does not have to. But the high probability longs, the ones that I want to take, the ones that are going to have the best risk reward and give me the highest expectancy in an uptrend, those form, this is your range, this is your mid-range right here, your 50. Those retracements that go deeper than the 50, those are the ones I like getting into. Those are the ones I like. So you see the 61.8, 70.5, 76.8, those pullbacks that everyone's always marking, right? The fibs, the OTE, all that shit. All it is just a range, right? And it's highlighting the area below, right? So if I want to see a pullback, oh, it pulled back right into the OTE. What is the OTE? It's just below the 50%, right? It's just below the 50%. So if I were to put that regular fib on here, right, where do you think I ideally want to long Ethereum? Below the 50%, there's those levels right there. Is there confluent price action in that area? I say yes. I say probably this. Up candle for down move that took out a low. This seems to be the area that I would want to look to long Ethereum. This would be similar to Bitcoin coming into here. Those would be the two buy the dip areas, in my opinion, based on the current PA on both Bitcoin and Ethereum. So Bitcoin longs between, 16.5 to 16.7. Ethereum, we're looking at like 1200 to 1220. That's the buy the dip zone on those two coins, in my opinion. If we're going to see continuation to the upside, I want to see, this kind of thing. That would be the next leg, if we see continuation to the upside. Now, what worries me about this whole thing is if you go over to equities here, like we're literally smack into weekly resistance here, this up move before the move down, this is your bearish order block, these up candles here, right? So if I go to the daily, you could grab one, I guess, if you want, but the weekly, right, is all of these candles. That weekly bearish order block, it's all of these candles on the daily. It's all of these candles on the 12-hour. That's your order block, your bearish order block. So we're into that high time frame resistance on equities. Banged into it, pulled back. So the question is, does equities have one more leg up? Is there more juice in the tank for this rally? And what worries me is, if you look at these previous rallies, 12%, 10%, almost 20%, right? But we're getting towards those levels. We're almost at 20% already on this rally. That's a big bear market rally. Big rally looking an awful lot like this one into high time frame resistance. This could be the top of the equities move. So that's my biggest concern for crypto and for risk in general, is that we're coming into high time frame resistance and there's a potential here that this is the end of this rally, right? Now, I would like to actually see one more push. I would like to see one more push above this high into here. So this would be my one more leg up scenario, which is we actually get one more push and then this is where we top. And that's the juice that gets Bitcoin to 18 whatever and Ethereum higher as well. But we need to see this have sustained strength and the ability to go higher. Because right now, right, if you look at this on low time frame, we came into the level, we rejected, and we sold off. Now, we are putting in some bullish SFP here we just did on the 12-hour. So that's something you could watch. But we need to see what happens here. This needs to be watched very closely for the coming days to determine if we're going to have continuation on the upside on risk, right? If this is the top, Bitcoin is going lower, and Ethereum is going much lower as well. Like if this is going to trade back down now, that's all very bad news, right? Like we have a huge gap in price here that could get filled in way down into here. And if that happens, Bitcoin's going back to the range lows. So same thing, the inverse. We now have the dollar, which has been falling extremely hard. 10% almost into high time frame demand. Weekly order block that kind of caused this entire rally. We're now trading back into that. Also back into this kind of old range high here. So what you need to see happen now on the dollar, this is all assuming we want to see risk crypto trade higher is we need the dollar to roll over and trade lower still, okay? But what's worrisome is we've now traded into this high time frame demand. And as you can see, we've taken out some lows, right? We took out this major low, we took out this low, and now we're trading back above it. That's worrisome for risk bulls, is if this is able to maintain and reclaim kind of, this floor here, then this is likely going to trade higher, which is going to send risk lower. So this is the battle right now. This is what I was talking about at the start. Dollars at support, XPX, resistance, Ethereum and Bitcoin at resistance. Look at other stuff, Euro USD. Again, weekly resistance. Zoomed in, I said, okay, we're in a weekly resistance here. I tried to get a little cheeky short going. It did not get filled. But again, this is denominated by dollars. So if dollars at support and this is at resistance, this is a high probability area to look for a short. Same goes for gold, silver, equities, crypto. All of those are denominated effectively against the dollar. So if you're trading this asset bullishly and this one's at support, you need to pay attention. Silver, we crushed this trade, took out my target. I said the top would be 23.50. It went to 23.51, but now we're coming into potential bullish support here, right? So we had that big move here. So I actually like looking for reasons to be bullish on silver still. I still think this has more to go just based on the monthly setup. Obviously that candle's ugly, but it's only the 6th day of the month. There's a lot of time to fix that candle. I think this monthly setup is really strong. And looking at the weekly, we have this weekly bullish order block here. So I'm still looking at reasons to potentially get bullish on silver, right? We ran these lows here. Look at the respect of the lows into this fair value gap here. So could you long silver now with a stop here? Maybe. Might want to wait for a few more price bars to play out before you decide, but silver's in an interesting area. Silver to me is at support, whereas equities is at resistance very clearly. Dollar is at support. I gotta make money. That's what I gotta do. One sec, I'm just gonna fill up my water. Did I just lose all my drawings? No. What the heck? Oh no, I've been rugged. Any questions about that? BitBoy in the house. I have a feeling not the real one. Must have been not that funny. Sorry, bro. I'm very petty. Jesus Christ. BitBoy with just the stream of literally redacted questions. Are you bullish or bearish? What indicator do you use? What's a swing failure pattern? Each of those has a spelling mistake in them as well. Every comment you've left so far, super stupid. I'm not gonna read them. Shut the fuck up. Go to dogehype.com. If you think I'm going to dogehype.com, you're fucking crazy. When I was a white boy wasted. Let's go. Oh my goodness, guys. This is devolving. My thoughts are non-existent. I'm sorry. Oh, don't do this to me right fucking now, you piece of shit. The quality is guaranteed to be the best. That is quite a guarantee. It's still fucked. Okay. Trades Main. Bro, what are you trying to do? You trying to steal my name? This guy's name is Trades Main. He's like, no, you're Trader. I'm Trades Main. Okay, bro. Sounds like you're using something that's one letter off from my name so you can scam people pretending to be me. But we'll assume that you're not a bad person. DM me. Well, I guess you can't DM me because you're blocked.